Happy Saturday, guys. So this is kind of a pretty impromptu video, but I was just thinking about it, and I feel like it's this lesson that has been coming around pretty frequently in my life, and it's something that people have told me over and over and over again, but it didn't really click until probably pretty recently. And it's on the concept of work and what your career is going to be. People all the time, they'll say, do what you love or do what you would do for free, and it won't be work. But I think many of us get stuck in thinking about how we're going to survive or doing what other people want us to do or what people might expect us to do. And I know it's important for, at least for me, to make people that I love proud. Like, I wanted to make sure that my parents were going to be happy with the career path that I chose, and that my friends would think I was still cool, or, I wanted to do something that people would think was successful, especially because I was born into a family that gave me a good amount of privilege. Like, I got to go to school, and I got to go to college, and I got to get my master's, so I better have some job that is that was good or successful. But the more that I started thinking about it and watching people in life just living, and seeing different people, seeing people that really, really loved what they were doing, and then seeing people that were quote unquote successful, like they were making a lot of money, but didn't seem really that happy. And then people who were somewhere in the middle, where they weren't really happy and they weren't really doing what they loved to do, but they were trying to work up the ladder, or just trying to be in a stable job, because stability equals some form of success to people. And I think I've touched on this in some of my other videos, with hi Shannon, with some of, with my friend Sean, and how he quit his 9-to-5 job, so that he could just do him and find him. And what I really admired about that was that he actually took the time to really focus on him. I think it's very easy, because I did this, to follow this path, and to try and stick to this timeline. Like, I was so set that I had to graduate UCLA in 4 years exactly. Like, I was not going to stay any longer. I wanted to graduate on time. And when I look back on it, I think, why? Why was that important to me? Hi, Daniel. It doesn't really, when I look back, I'm like, why did I rush out of college? College is the best place for you to learn and explore and try different things. And it's the place where you're going to get the most experience and the most opportunities for internships. Why would you want to rush out of that place? It's the best prepping place for you before you enter the real world. That's going to connect you to so many different things. But I was stuck on this timeline of what I needed to achieve in a certain amount of time. And then I came out and I was like, there really was no point to rushing through that, except for the fact that I can say that I graduated in 4 years. Nowadays, people aren't doing that, and it's not even a big deal. But that same mentality kind of transitions into what people choose to do in life for their career. And I see some of my friends at home, back from home, go through this struggle of trying to find a job that is a good job. And I think one of the main questions that people are forgetting to ask themselves is bye Shannon, is what kind of job do I want to do, really? And I think some people may be afraid that they won't be able to do the job that they actually want to do. but at the same time, maybe they haven't even tried. And, you know, I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and she was like, I love to do, you know, this thing as my hobby on the side, but I don't really, you know, I could make money with it, but I don't really, you know, I don't know how to do it yet or something, but I have to get this real job, and I'm doing it, you know, just so I have a stable job. And I don't know, I was like, yeah, she totally could make a lot of money. She's great at her hobby. Like, she refurbishes furniture and stuff like that. I'm like, that's what you should be doing. That's what makes you happy. And that's what you should be focusing your time on. Because I remember coming out of college, and that was like one of my biggest concerns was, okay, what job am I going to get now? What am I going to do? Like, I need to figure this out really fast, and I need to pick the right thing. I was always afraid that I would choose the wrong career. And actually, I went to watch one of my best friends, Angel, who created Passion Planner. I went to watch her speak to some UCLA kids, and the whole reason she created Passion Planner was because she didn't know what she wanted to do with her life once she graduated college. And it was kind of just to help people find their passion and to drive forward towards that, because it's very easy for us to get caught up in doing the day-to-day of how to like stay alive. I mean, I see this all the time with actors. You know, a lot of actors move here to California or LA, and then they need to survive. They need to pay their rent. So they get a waitering job or a bartending job, and then they get so wrapped up in those jobs that I don't think that they're spending time on their craft and like working towards networking, and doing the things that they need to do to be an actor, which is the reason they moved out here in the first place. So then they're always just the aspiring actor who's really a waiter. But what I started to think about was like, man, they actually have the right idea though. Like, you know, some people might look down on people who have side jobs, but if you can find a side job that allows you to make a good amount of money in a short amount of time, so that you can then use the rest of the day and the rest of your time to focus on the thing that you actually really want to do, whether that be your hobby, your passion, or your startup business, or just anything that you actually want to turn into making it be your full-time thing, then that's smart. You know, like, I don't think that it's necessarily the best idea to just quit your job and and then have no income, and then hope that whatever it is that you actually like to do might somehow magically be able to provide for you. Because that doesn't always happen. Sometimes it does. Sometimes the pressure of like actually needing to survive can make that shift happen. But I think that the main thing is remembering that you're doing that side hustle so that you can make, even though that's the thing that's making you money, don't shift your focus off of what it is that you really want to do. Because in the end, you will make money doing what it is that you want to do if you put the effort towards it and if you keep working at it. I feel like that's the way it works in entertainment. You know, like, even though it may not seem like it, all the effort and time that you put into networking and going on auditions and just putting yourself out there, telling people your dream, and yeah, like, eventually those will come through. And they might not come through fast, but you have to put in those little efforts. Today I went to this seminar that a casting director was at, and they were telling us the things that you don't know about casting. And where was I going with that? Oh, they were talking about how impressions, it's like you don't go in to get the job. you go in to do a good job, like to audition well and to plant a seed. And because not everyone is going to be right for everything, but you just want to continually come up, like as long as they see you, this is one impression, and then you meet them at a networking event, that's another impression. They see you at an audition, that's another impression. Then you might eventually book the job. But I thought that was a good note for life, like Les Brown. I've been listening to his audiobook series, or it's like the best of Les Brown, but on Audible. And he talks about his story. I don't know if you've ever heard his story, but he's a motivational speaker. But his story is really cool about how he really wanted to be like a radio DJ, like the person that comes on and introduces the song and stuff like that. And he just like would go back every single day and ask the guy if there was an opening for a job. And the guy was like, no, I just told you yesterday there's no job opening. And he'd be like, well, I didn't know if someone quit today. And then he'd come back the next day and he'd be like, why are you back again? And then Les Brown would say, well, I didn't know if someone died or, if something else happened. And then eventually it was just like enough times, and the guy made him his assistant and was like, just go get me some coffee. And then he got his foot in the door, and then he worked really hard, and he continued to be there, be the one that was always putting in more effort than he was getting paid for. And when the opportunity came, he was ready for it. Basically, one of the disc jockeys that was on was drinking on the job, and then it was like a weekend, so the producer called into the studio, and Les Brown answered the phone, and the producer was like, hey, can you please call other disc jockeys, because this guy is drunk on the air, we need to get him off, we need someone to replace him. And Les Brown was like, yes, sir, like, I'm gonna call some people. Of course, he didn't call anybody, and he's like, I'm about to be on the air. And then he got to go on the air. Hi, Austin. He got to go on the air, and then from then on, that was his opportunity, and he was prepared for it. But that's why we have to keep working on what we really love and what we really want to do, to actually focus and put time into that. And when I was thinking about life in general and how I wanted to live it, and realizing, like, we only have so much time here on this planet. Do you really want to be spending hours upon hours putting into something, doing something that doesn't fulfill you? Because I'm not saying that hard work is a bad thing. Like, if you like to do it, you'll probably enjoy the hard work, and it won't even feel that much like work. Like, I love to act, and I love to to be able to perform and stuff like that. So when I'm reading scripts, or I'm practicing, or I'm going out on auditions and just trying to go to class and practice my craft, that is work, but it doesn't feel like work because I actually enjoy it. And I'm like, that's okay. That's okay that I'm spending 10 hours a day, working on that, because I would rather do that than spend my time doing something that doesn't fulfill me, especially because we only have so much time. That's our most precious asset. And I just really feel like, when they tell you you should do what you love to do, I get it now. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, we really only have so much time. Really do what makes you happy, because the work won't feel hard, or it might feel hard, but it'll feel fulfilling to do that. And you'll be spending your time investing in something that makes you feel fulfilled. And I think, at least for my own opinion, I guess, that's the kind of life that I want to live. Someone asked a good question recently, and they said, how do you choose how you spend your time and what you do? And the answer was whatever you want people to say at your obituary about you. Like, do you want to be known as the person who was the CEO of this amazing, huge company that changed a whole bunch of people's life? Or do you want to be known as the very loving and personable community member who just was always there for everybody, or something like that? You know, neither is better than the other, but it's just a matter of what you want to be known for or to be remembered as. Because I think that, of course, there are amazing people that we consider successful based on how much money they have, or you know, what their career titles are. But I don't think that it necessarily means that they lived a good life for them. Like, I know I figured out, at least for me, that money isn't everything for me, but I enjoy being happy and I enjoy my freedom. And part of being happy is my freedom. My freedom to go visit my grandma when I want to, my freedom to see my family and hang out with my friends and host game nights and stuff like that. Being able to do those things, or even to go to career days and talk to kids about fulfilling their dreams. That stuff is important to me. And that, or, you know, like volunteering with Awaken Arts. I obviously don't get paid for that, but that makes me feel fulfilled. Like, those type of things are what really bring me joy in my life. And I needed to figure out a career or something that I could do that allowed me to do those things. So if I wanted to be an entrepreneur and needed to put 80 hours into building my company, I might not be able to do all those things that I love to do. And it might take away some of my happiness and some of my freedom. And in the end, that might not make me actually happy. And is that living a successful life? Because I can say I'm running a really successful startup company. That's not what I would want on my grave, at least for me. I want people to know that I want every person that I meet and get to be around to know that I cared about them and that I have love for them, and I want to impart that to them. And if money comes along the way, then great. As long as I can survive and as long as I can be happy and make other people happy, then to me that's a good life. But I think figuring that out for yourself, what actually makes you happy, and not what society tells you is success and that will make you happy. Because like I said, I've seen a lot of people be what other people think is successful, but you can tell when you look at them that they're not really happy. And it kind of makes me sad, and it, you know, it hurts me to see people not happy. Because to me, that's the most success. That's the best life you can live, is a happy one. But to each their own. I just wanted to bring up this conversation of finding your fulfillment in life and what's going to actually bring you the most happiness, and just to think about it and not to go through life doing what other people consider successfulness is, or the path that will lead to that, because that doesn't necessarily mean it will be success and happiness for you. So do what you want in life, and yeah, I mean, just really, like they say, do what you love, because it won't be work and you'll probably enjoy it more. I don't know. I just want everyone to be happy, and I feel like doing what actually speaks to yourself is a big part of that, especially since for work in your career, probably is going to take up a good amount of your time in your life. And there's always a way to figure out how to monetize it. It's not that there isn't a way. It's just that you don't know how yet. So you just got to figure it out. But anyways, those are my thoughts for tonight. And I'm actually going to do a Facebook Live with my mom tomorrow for Mother's Day. I'm so excited. I realized that, you know, we spend so much time getting to know other people, like our friends, you know, our best friends or people around us. But a lot of times we don't interview our parents. And there's so many things that I would want to know that I probably don't know. And what's a better day than Mother's Day to connect with my mom and learn a little bit more about her and what her experience was like and her ideology behind raising me. I think that'll be interesting. She's awesome. So if you're around, hopefully you can join us and meet my mama. She's super awesome. I love her. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Good night.